Welcome to Threat Vector, a podcast where Unit 42 shares unique threat intelligence insights, new threat actor TTPs, and real-world case studies. Unit 42 has a global team of threat intelligence experts, incident responders, and proactive security consultants dedicated to safeguarding our digital world. I'm your host, David Moulton, Director of Thought Leadership for Unit 42. In today's episode, I'm going to talk with Garrett about the importance of internal training and mentorship in cybersecurity. Garrett is a senior consultant at Unit 42. Garrett's security career stretches back for more than a decade and is a former Marine and professor, someone that has a long history of service. In our conversation, we'll discuss the role internal training plays in preparing cybersecurity professionals and the importance of mentorship. Garrett will talk about how organizations can build cultures that encourage everyone to participate and how to use those relationships to advance careers. Let's get right into it. Garrett, what role does internal training play in preparing cybersecurity professionals for the challenges they'll face in our industry?
Our industry is something that's ever changing. And so the requirement for internal training allows for this idea of getting the baseline from zero to at least knowledgeable. So that way, every single person is a proactive member of the team. Without it, it's a race to try and put letters together, squares to squares, circles to circles.
How does mentorship within an organization contribute to the professional growth and development of individuals pursuing a cybersecurity career?
I think that mentorship, and when we're talking about mentorship, we're talking about a dedicated relationship that's not just the supervisor or supervisee relationship. We're talking about true mentorship where someone is challenging individuals and the individuals working to rise to the challenge. That kind of professional growth is something that we really want every organization to have, because without that, you have drones that they're not innovating. They're not thinking about the next step or the next threat in our case. And so we see things like SolarWinds or the Exchange vulnerabilities that happened over the last couple of years. And if people aren't challenged to meet those threats and challenged to find ways to defend against them and to recognize them, then we just have people that are there just waiting for an event to happen and they do the bare minimum. That challenge, that mentorship allows them to think beyond that initial triage and to think beyond and see the threats that are coming or the patterns that are associated.
How can organizations create a culture that encourages both experienced and junior cybersecurity professionals to participate in those mentorship programs that you talk about?
Organizations this has to be that mentorship has to be something that is prevalent and almost a requirement. It can't be something that, oh, we'll get to it in the future. We have to be able to look for it and process it. And just this, again, I mentioned challenge in the last question, but if it's not part of that normal everyday culture, then the junior employees who are new to the career, new to the industry, really don't have the wherewithal to know like what's going on. And so the experienced individuals are the ones with the knowledge. They're the keeper of the keys. It's their responsibility to share that knowledge, or we end up in a continual cycle that there's not enough professionals out there.
What advice would you give to aspiring cybersecurity professionals who want to make the most of internal training and mentorship opportunities to advance their careers?
I firmly believe that it is the responsibility of those that have knowledge to share knowledge. But on the flip side, it is the responsibility of those that need leadership, that need more training, that need that mentorship to go and ask for it.
Garrett, when you think about the times that you've mentored someone, can you tell me what you got out of those relationships?
The thing that I think I've ever gotten from my mentorship is how to communicate complex issues in a way that is digestible by those who don't quite understand or have the same education level as I do. Um, I can specifically think of an instance of just trying to explain um, a kind of a complex case and being able to redirect it and present it in a way that they're like, okay, cool, I understand.
Think back on the times that somebody has mentored you. Is there a moment that really stands out?
I was in the military years ago and I remember getting promoted, and one of the Marines I had at the time just being completely obstinate. And after a little bit of a row with the individual, I was pulled aside by probably one of my best friends now, but at the time was my senior enlisted leader, and pulled me aside and he taught me, hey, you praise in public and you punish it in private. And while I wasn't punishing this individual, I was definitely giving it a nice little chewing out time. But if someone does something that's good, you tell the world about it so that way they feel emboldened to be innovative and continue their good work. That is the role of a mentor. And that's what he did for me.
What's the one thing you want our listeners to remember from this conversation?
No one else is responsible for you. You're responsible for yourself. If you want leadership, if you want mentorship, you should go and get it. Ask somebody, talk to them. And if they say no, ask the next person. There are individuals like myself and that want to share their information, and they're more than willing to give their time. Unit 42 is full of people like this. There's not, I can think of, like, just looking at my direct message list, all of them are individuals I've reached out to about something, and they've given me an hour of their time. No one, for the most part, no one's going to say no, because we all remember being new. So you are responsible for your knowledge.
Garrett, thanks for sharing some of your own experiences and the value you gained from mentorship, along with your insights on how mentorship and training fosters innovation and prevents stagnation. You describe mentorship as a dedicated, challenging relationship beyond the usual supervisor-supervisee dynamic. I would love to hear from our guest about how mentorship has accelerated their careers. You can send me a note at threatvector@paloaltonetworks.com. We'll be back on the Cyberwire daily in 2 weeks. In the meantime, stay secure, stay vigilant. Goodbye for now.